Good afternoon, everybody. This is Amy from Once in a Blue Moon, coming to you from Central Illinois on a beautiful, beautiful Friday afternoon. There's no rain right now anyway. The sun's shining and it's just beautiful out there today. I'm going to have to figure out how I can do these tutorials from outside because it's so nice out there today. But for now, we're in my craft room, and today I'm going to be showing you how to go ahead and make this pretty Carnelian blue Chalcedony, is I guess is the proper way to pronounce it, wire wrapped bracelet. And we have a mandala here on the base of it for a charm. So I'm going to have links to everything that we're going to be using today in the description if you think that you would like to make this kind of bracelet, or you can go ahead and mix up what you have in your stash and make something pretty too. So here we go. Right now, this is not on memory wire. This is actually going to be on 20 gauge silver wire, and I'm going to be making a 7-inch bracelet. And in order to make the proper size and wrap it, I'm going to need to measure out 4 times the size of the bracelet that I need. And since I need 7 inches, times 4 would be 28. And then I add on a few more inches and make it 30 inches, just so I make sure that I have enough to wrap. Because when I did the prototype for this that I'm wearing today, I actually had to do it a couple of times because I didn't measure enough wire. So, and also take into account if you use a bigger bead than a 6 millimeter. I think these Carnelian gemstones are roughly 14 millimeter. If you're going to use bigger beads than this, you're going to need to add on a little bit of extra wire to accommodate it being able to go around the diameter of the bead itself. Okay, but right now today we're working with 6 millimeter blue Chalcedony. Why do I have a hard time saying that? Chalcedony beads, gemstone beads. I have 3 millimeter Swarovski crystals, Precocia actually, and not Swarovski. And then we have the 14 millimeter Carnelian gemstones with the crystals in between, finishing it out with the blue Chalcedony. And then here is my mandala charm for the dangle at the end of the bracelet. I'm also going to be showing you how to do the set of earrings to go with it. And really, these could go with the bracelet. They could go with basically anything. They're really casual. They're not very fancy, just casual, like with blue jeans and a nice shirt, you know, if you were going out with friends or for whenever. So let's go ahead and get started on this bracelet. I'm going to take, this is an awful lot of wire to be working with too, but it's okay. Just got to be careful when you're trying to wrap with it. Let me go ahead and get my bail pliers here. These bail pliers are not the step down bail sizes like what you would normally see. This is just 2 size. You've got 1 small and 1 large. Okay, and we're going to be using the smaller of the 2. So I'm going to take my wire. I'm going to come down approximately about 1 inch. Okay, and I'm going to wrap. Whoop, that's a lot of wire. I'm going to wrap my wire around the bail pliers until they meet. Okay, so then I take that off. I'm going to adjust this camera just a sec. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. That wire was just going haywire. Bad joke, sorry. Okay, so I've got my loop here with my tail. I'm going to take my needle nose pliers. I'm going to wrap, hopefully I can get 3 wraps So there's 1, 2. If the wire's too hard, you can use another set of pliers to be able to move your wire in the right direction. Luckily, this is soft enough to where I can do it by hand. Okay, and there's my third. I'm going to bring it around, straighten it out. And take my flush cutters, and I'm going to trim the end of my wrap flush. Okay, I'm taking my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to tuck that end underneath so that it doesn't scratch. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to straighten out this loop. You don't want to maneuver too much because you can break your wire off, and that's going to do you no good at all. Okay, so I've got my wire wrap loop right here, and I'm going to start stringing on my beads. Move this out of the way. I'm going to start out with a 3mm crystal. Here we go. My pattern is going to be, I will go ahead and string it up to the carnelian stones, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've got my first side of my bracelet all strung up. I've mixed the 3, I've got the 3 of the blue Chalcedony with the crystal, 1 and then 5. 1, 2, 3. Oops. I actually put 6 on there. So let's take that one off, and it'll be ready for this crystal. So let me go ahead and get that on there. Okay, pull that down to meet up with the other crystals and beads that I have on here. And then I'm ready to go ahead and put my carnelian stones on. So this wire is still pretty haywire here. So I'm going to do my best to keep it straight so you can see what I'm doing and it's not flying all over the place. Got my bead on, my crystal, and like I said, you can do any combination of beads that you like and match with whatever charm you want or not. But this was a color combination that I thought would look really nice with this particular mandala. I've got my second carnelian gemstone on here. Okay. Hope you guys have had a good summer. I know that a lot of the kids are back in school already. Seems like the summer just flies by. Put him over here. I've got all 3 of my gemstones on here, just like this. And I'm going to push them down to meet up with the other beads that I've already strung on the bracelet. Here, 1 second. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and complete my other side of the bracelet with these beads right here, and I will be back to show you the entire piece, and then we'll start to wrap. Okay, here we are. I've got all of my beads in my pattern that I chose on my wire. Okay, and now what we're going to do is make another loop on this end right here, And we're going to start and go back wire wrapping until we reach the end of our wire. So I take my bail making pliers. I guess I should call it the looper. Maybe I could call it the looper. And I'm going to take this wire around until it meets the other wire. And try and get that's a bit wonky. I'm going to try and get that loop a little bit better. Got stuff flying all over the place here. Okay. Okay, get that out of there. That's a little bit better. Gonna grab, I'll try the chain nose pliers this time, see if that holds it a little bit easier, because you want to make sure that you have a firm grip on this while you're wrapping, and you need a bit of control too to make sure that it wraps just the way you want it to. So what I'm going to do, since I'm right-handed, I'm going to go ahead, flip it over, straighten out my wire. I'm going to go ahead and wrap my wire. One, whoop, well, two, straighten that out, and three. Okay, there's my 3 wraps, and now I'm going to start wrapping the bracelet. You can either go in between each one, or I pretty much just kind of where the wire takes me when I'm wrapping, under and over. Trying to keep it tight. Like this. And going down in between the bead as it curves over. Trying to keep the loops as uniform as I can. Okay, there's one, and we're going over the carnelian now. Two. Move this back just a little. Go around that way. There we go. 3. Okay, got those. Got our Carnelian's wrap. I almost said chameleon. Ay, ay. Okay. Come around. And end up, I'm going to be covering these initial 3 wraps, but it will still look uniform. Okay, so I've got it all wrapped to the end. I come around to this side, and I'm going to use my flesh cutters to trim the excess off and tuck it in. Okay, tuck that in. Sorry, went off camera for a bit there. Okay, and now this is what we have. You've got wraps all the way from end to end, and the ones I really wanted to focus on were the 3 in the middle, the carnelians, because that's your focal point really. So I've got my bracelet ready to go. It's pretty stiff by now, so I want to make sure that my loops are both facing the same way, and they are. I'm going to take it and push gently to give it some form. Okay, so we've got that like this, and I'm going to go ahead and put my clasp. I thought I had one out. I do not. So let me get that really quick. And, okay. Here we go. I've got my clasp. I take my needle nose pliers. I'm going to open my jump ring, attach it to my first loop, close that up so that they're even. Okay, and now I have my clasp on the bracelet. I'm going to open the other loop. I just happen to have a lobster clasp with both the jump rings already on there, so I'm taking advantage of that. Okay, so I open my second jump ring, take the other end of my bracelet, and put it on. Close it up, okay, to where they're flush. And so now this is what I have. I've got my clasp, my jump ring, everything's all together, and now I'm ready to put on my charm. Like I say, if you don't like the bangle quite this big, like I said, this is for a 7-inch wrist, and it actually, once you put it on, it's a little bit bigger. You've got a lot of play in the room, more like exactly like a bangle would. You can always make it tighter if you like, which would just mean less beads and less wire. Okay, so let's go ahead and put on this mandrel. Not mandrel, sorry. I'm going to put on this charm. And I wanted to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I love any comments that you might want to add, any suggestions. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. Hit that subscribe button and the notification button as well. And I appreciate that. So I've got my jump ring on my charm. I take it and I'm going to add it to the side that the other jump ring is on. As always, keeping it real. Okay, put this guy. I had to go off camera to put this charm on here. It was being a bit of a booger. But I did finally get him on there. I put him on the other loop at the other end of the bracelet. So you've got everything here. There's the bracelet. Okay. And after you put it on, of course you'll have room. Okay. Have room in that bracelet for it to move freely around. Okay. So this is the bracelet. I thought it came out really nice. Okay, and the next thing that we're going to do, I'll show you how to do these earrings. I did do one already, and you can see right here. We've got another one of the mandala charms, a crystal, the Carnelian gemstone, another crystal, and that is on a 2-inch head pin eye pin, along with a silver and gold ear wire. Okay, so let me show you how to do that one real quick. And see, the great thing about this, a lot of times when, I think I've mentioned it before, when I was working, some days I would get ready for work and I think, oh man, I don't have a pair of earrings to wear. What am I going to do? Well, once I started making jewelry, I found out that I could do a pair of earrings in maybe 5-10 minutes before I left for work, and that was very handy. So what I'd like to do in a future tutorial is give you some ideas for maybe three pairs or so of those fast earrings that are great to make on a busy morning when you're trying to get out the door. Okay, so here we have our charm attached to the eye pin. We're going to add one of our crystals to that eye pin, just like that. I take a carnelian stone, put that on, just like that. Our last crystal, just like that. This is what you have. Just like this. And I'm going to take the top of my eye pin, bend it over, trim off to about half an inch. I run those pliers and make a simple loop. And I need to bring that together, so I'll come down here and bring that loop together. Okay. Now, in order for this earring to hang, I want it to hang facing front. Since I've got my loop at the top facing the other direction, I'm going to use another jump ring in order to get it to hang front before I put on my ear wire. So I've got, I think this is probably a 4mm jump ring. And I know they say use pliers, but these are so small, it's just easier to use my fingernail. So I'm going to put that on there, get my ear wire, put that on as well. Close it up, make sure they're even, and they are, and here you go, voila, a pair of earrings that didn't actually take all that long at all when you figure in total time for two. And there you are. And we have the earrings, the bracelet. If you just wanted to do the earrings, you certainly could. But I think this came out really cute. It's very different. I guess I'm one to have things that don't look like everybody else's if I can change them up a little bit to make them mine. And that's what you want to do too when you're making jewelry, is to fix them up, create them to where they're yours. You don't have to copy anybody. You can just do you. And you can take a general design that someone has made, switch it up, change it out, and you've got something brand new, and it's all yours. So I want to thank you all for joining me today with this tutorial, bloopers and all. And like I said, I'm going to have in the description box, I'll have all of the links and the materials that we used today. And until next time, I hope you all have a great day and happy beading. Thanks. Bye-bye.